pogonophobia. If the people who invent the words for phobias had the slightest bit of sympathy for those who suffer from them, you might think they'd want to gesture towards what the phobia is about with its name. Like ballophobia, sidewalkophobia, dehydrated from crying into my pillow. A phobia. Apparently that's not common practice though, because it's not a fear of pogo sticks, it's actually a fear of beards. The root of this fear seems like it could have grown out of a suspicion of a surreptitious desire on the part of people who wanted to restrict the clarity with which their naked face was projecting to the general public. Isn't it just a bit suspicious that a significant portion of the population is operating with half of their faces concealed? What are they hiding? Hippotomonstrosauquitophiliophobia. This one is particularly hilarious and cruel in equal measure. You might think, oh, this just sounds like it could be a fear of some sort of monstrous hippopotamus, squid hybrid, creature of legend thing. Imagine you're talking to your therapist and you're trying to get to the bottom of why you get seemingly random spikes in anxiety while you're reading or watching a nature documentary. It's so difficult to narrow down because it really does seem quite arbitrary. And then your therapist is like, right, how does it make you feel when I say the word hippopotamonstrosauquitophiliophobia? And you nearly poop yourself from the lightning bolt of fear that just evacuated itself from your arsehole. The prognosis for this phobia is much better for those with an alarmingly large appreciation of irony. Chronophobia is the fear of time. This one just makes more and more sense the longer you give it time to marinate. Phobias are supposedly an irrational and unwarranted fear of a person, place, thing, idea, something that poses no real harm to anyone. But what could be more threatening than the unrelenting and omnipresent march toward all of our deaths and the inevitable end of the universe where nothing happens forever? Seems a fair point to be a bit wary of it. It's difficult to pin down as well. What are its motives? There's a lot of it, and very little of it at the same time. It changes the rate at which it passes based on how miserable or happy you are. It's the medium through which beginnings and endings begin and end. Overall, just really shady behavior, so probably right to be leery of it. Decidophobia. Probably not too difficult to deduce what this one's all about. It's also strange to think about this one in relation to its antonym, or the opposite. I find it hard to imagine many people out there who just love making decisions. They're like, yeah, making decisions, it's so relaxing and spiritual. The more consequential, the better. That's like kind of approaching, well, psychotic territory, but also superpower territory. Decision man. His decisions astound in a single bound. He feeds off the meek and indecisive. The Westdale Homeowners Association will be transitioning to a new lawn fertilizer company this summer. Most people acknowledge and dislike the weight that comes from committing to a movie that they've already seen and liked. Anyway, those were some phobias I thought were interesting.